You are listening to the global network of podcasters dedicated to the pharmacy profession. Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
We are committed to the pharmacy owner's success. PrimeRx believes in empowering pharmacies with innovative solutions to thrive in today's competitive landscape. We look forward to working with pharmacy owners and sharing how our solutions can contribute to their sustained profitability and growth. Connect with us on the web by going to PrimeRx.io. That's PrimeRx.io.
Hey there, podcast listeners. This is a special episode from PrimeRx. You can learn more at PrimeRx.io in launching the first ever real-time marketplace integration and what that means for you as pharmacy operators and owners. David Kirkus is back on the pods. David, it's great to see you.
Great to see you, Todd. Nice to be here as always.
And the legend needs no introduction. CEO of PrimeRx, Ketan, Mehta, how are you?
Hey, Todd. Always nice to be here.
It's nice to talk with you. I'm so glad you got to be on This Week in Pharmacy. That episode did very well as we were digging into the PrimeRx user conference that's coming up in New Jersey. Going to be excited to be tracking that. But today is a special conversation, gentlemen, that I'm excited to listen in on as you two are discussing what this means for pharmacy owners when we're talking about framing out the world of integrating our buying power and available products, secondary opportunities, other services that don't necessarily have to do with a medication, but other things that might be sold through our pharmacies. But having that integration right to what's commanding our pharmacy operations, the pharmacy management systems. David, start us off with a brief introduction as to what's happening in the world of we got tariffs, we got drug shortages, we got the DIR fee nightmare that we're finally through, but it's still impacting us. And talk to us about the challenges and why this technology makes sense today, more than ever.
Yeah, sure. I think, over the course of the last many years, there have been just a number of challenges facing pharmacies and independent pharmacies in particular. And, we can go down the list of all of the different pressures on all the other middlemen who squeeze pharmacies and really create a challenging operating environment. We've seen margins dwindling in pharmacies. Reimbursement is not, has not, the race to the bottom for reimbursement continues to be a real issue. And we, I don't want to come on here and talk too much about problems. I'd rather talk about solutions and our efforts at PrimeRx to really develop the tools and technologies that pharmacies can use right now to make a difference. So whatever the challenges are, we know that if you can improve your cost of goods, if you can buy your inventory at a lower price than what you're paying today, a lot of those problems become a lot easier to deal with. Your reimbursement pressure is mitigated somewhat. The various other challenges that are impacting finances of the average pharmacy owner, from staffing challenges, rising wages, in an environment where it's just really you're not having more money coming in and your expenses are rising. We know that the one last piece that the pharmacy can really get a grip on to move the needle on their bottom line is improving their cost of goods. So just to give a brief overview of what PrimeRx market is in general, prior to the integration, it's a fully functioning online pharmaceutical marketplace where we have over 40 wholesalers supplying drugs to pharmacies in a competitive environment. So you're improving your costs. You're able to see the best price available from very many sources in one place, and also improve your likelihood of the medications that you need being in stock as well and available at the time that you need them. So we've taken this full functioning marketplace experience and built out something really nice that pharmacies are using regularly to save significant money on the cost of the pharmaceuticals that they're dispensing. Now, the subject of today's podcast, to get to that, the integration with PrimeRx, with the pharmacy management system, is a truly groundbreaking change. And the first time this is ever, anyone's ever brought a competitive shopping marketplace into workflow. And we all know that anytime a pharmacist or pharmacy technician has to leave the pharmacy management system to go to some other site or go use another piece of technology to perform any function,
The worst.
Right. Your execution just falls completely. You lose 80% of people are never going to leave workflow to do anything. So what we've done is brought the shopping experience and the competitive marketplace directly into workflow. And I'll pause there if you have any questions, or we can start getting into a little bit more about how it actually works.
Well, Ketan, I wanted to kind of hear from you too, and that is, there's an advantage to now adding this into a system that is now moving towards cloud technology as well, so that the flexibility of this system and technology is in the palm of my hand when I'm out as a pharmacy owner and operator. I'm out at a conference, doing something, and I need access to bigger data that's about impacting my business. So talk to us about the advantages of an all-in-one enterprise platform that is also integrated into the cloud.
Yeah. Todd, I'll also probably comment a little bit on tariffs and the shortages in the industry, etc. I mean, like, these things are very true, very real. There's a lot of uncertainty. I think one of the things that happens is, there are consistent price fluctuations, and pharmacies want access to information. The other thing that you mentioned that most people don't realize is the staff shortages. So what happens in a pharmacy is all these things are compounded into a variety of issues. I mean, when they are filling prescriptions, they need to know their inventory. They want to know the price. Has the price fluctuated in the day? I need to order this. Have I met my minimum here? So what happens is they're glued into the pharmacy management system all day long. But when they are making these decisions, they are in and out of the system. So on already a stressful environment, it adds more stress because they are doing all these things, right? So yes, David is certainly right. Like, there's a lot of advantages, and the market does provide that. But the integration of bringing this market experience of purchasing experience and decision-making experience into the pharmacy workflow is where the integration really helps reduce a lot of that rub, right? And this is where the stress amongst employees, etc., is reduced. What happens is, if the environment is nice and conducive to the working conditions are conducive to making decisions, and they don't have to flip between screens and make all these decisions, then you will see that employees tend to stay longer in the pharmacy. I mean, like, that's where the staff shortages and everything happens. You see, we are behind computers all day long. Why is it that we get exhausted towards the end of the day? It's not as if I'm running or I'm sprinting or I'm out on the field all day. But what tires us out is this making decisions on a daily basis. Now, if you look into the life of pharmacists, they are doing this hundreds and hundreds of times through the day. You add to the stress of purchasing and the ordering from other systems and then jumping back into the flow. This is where some of the pharmacists just throw up their towel and say, you know what, I know that I can probably save money by doing searches over here versus there, but I just don't have the bandwidth to make these decisions. This is where the integration helps. The market by itself is a beautiful thing, but bringing this into the workflow adds so much more effectiveness, right? So that's why when you said about the staff shortages and tariffs and these decisions and the integration, and then now you just spoke about cloud and enterprise, these are our pharmacy management system platforms that serve pharmacies. We have incorporated all these things into the pharmacy workflow, right? So David can certainly talk more about the advantages of why the market helps, but bringing this into the pharmacy workflow just lessens that rub onto the day-to-day life of a pharmacist.
Yeah, those are great points, Ketan. And I'll just say as well, from my standpoint as a pharmacist myself as well, it's, you know, no pharmacist went to school to learn how to make purchasing decisions and manage primary agreements and make sure they hit, you know, purchase thresholds and GCR compliance to maximize their rebates. Pharmacists have to make hundreds and hundreds of decisions a day, and the important decisions that they should be focused on are the ones that impact the patient's health that they're serving. And so, yes, the feedback that Ketan provided is exactly what we hear from our customers all day, every day when we talk to them about, you know, missed opportunities where they could have saved more buying on the market, or not using the market at all and just relying on the traditional buying from one source because it is easier. It takes some of the decision point out of your hands. But we have pharmacies that are saving tens, some even over $100,000 per month on the cost of goods by purchasing in a competitive environment. So, you know, realizing that we can't rely on a pharmacist or a pharmacy technician to leave workflow and go perform a search on our site for every single drug they need to buy. It's just really too time consuming. We've brought that entire experience directly into workflow. And it's not just a search bar in workflow that you can type in a drug and go look for. It's all completely automated and done for you behind the scenes. So as you're filling a prescription and moving from step to step, whether you're at RX entry, or you're editing the drug, or you're in a verification step for a pharmacist, or reviewing adjudication responses, the different touch points that you're working on a prescription throughout the day, we're going to show you live real-time data what the best price available on the market is for the particular drug that you're working on right now. And then we give you a one-click access to drop that product directly into your basket on our marketplace. And so then throughout the day, rather than thinking about how much am I going to pay for this drug, where am I going to buy it, searching on 5 different sites to try to find the best price for the product that you're dispensing, we're going to show you what the best price available is for the NDC that you're filling now. And if there's an alternative NDC that is available at a lower price, we're going to let you know that as well. So if you want to make a decision about, purchasing the same drug from a different supplier at a better price, we put the decision in your hands, and we do it in a way that you don't have to think and shop. We're just showing you the best price available. If you want it, you take advantage of it.
Love it. Kind of open up into some of the internal benefits where you're bringing 40 plus organizations together into this marketplace, and with that kind of access makes a lot of efficiency. So kind of share that with our listeners.
Yeah, it does. You're not, and I think as users start to see this live in our workflow day to day, you'll see that, it's not one supplier that's always providing the best price on every drug. So just like, you're not always getting the best price from your primary wholesaler, you're not always going to get the best price from any of the wholesalers on PrimeRx market. But when you shop across 45 or 46 suppliers, then you're going to get the best price out of a much larger pool of available suppliers. And, really interestingly, we did some analysis a couple of weeks ago, just looking at all of the products that are available on the market and comparing those to the products availability on the primary wholesaler pricing that comes in. And we have, across all of our products, an average savings of 45% off of the list price in the primary that's coming in from the primary wholesaler. So, who doesn't want to save 45% on average upfront, immediate? There's no waiting on rebates. It's just you pay less right now, and we show you what your best price is immediately.
Exactly. I love it. So we're talking about real-time price comparisons, the smart NDC recommendations, supplier diversification. There's also a savings involved in this because of the access. Talk about some of that as well, and the impact to like revenue and cash flow.
I mean, I would say what pharmacy owner wouldn't like $10,000, $20,000, $80,000 in monthly, not annual, but monthly savings on their inventory costs. You know, your inventory and your payroll by far are your two largest expenses on operating a pharmacy. Your payroll expense is relatively fixed. You can operate as lean as you want. And you know, instead of hiring that third or fourth pharmacy technician, try to run with one or two and fill as many scripts as you can with as little help as possible. That's sort of been the go-to model for pharmacy for many years. And it's exhausting. You compound that on top of all the decision points that Ketan mentioned earlier, the mental drain that it causes when, you know, a pharmacist is having to be a purchasing manager and perform significant amounts of pharmacy technician duties just to try to keep payroll tight. I mean, you could easily hire more staff with the savings that you can realize very easily on the market.
And this problem actually compounds. I mean, you talk about doing this in one pharmacy, and possible that the owner is savvy and understands his purchasing and he can do this. Now, from our experience, we have seen that we have more multiple pharmacy owners rather than individual pharmacy owners. So as they keep on increasing their business by opening up more pharmacies to serve the patients, the process of ordering becomes more convoluted. They start depending on personnel rather than data. They start depending on just like, okay, you know, I need you to order from here, I need you to order from here, etc. And then as their organization grows, the ordering process in a lot of senses sometimes becomes less intelligent. And the moment you start adding more volume to your pharmacies, like recently Rite Aid, in New York, tons of Rite Aids closed, right? So all these prescriptions are now coming on to the independents and patients are coming on to independents. So we are seeing that they are filling more prescriptions. So the decision-making process of purchasing sometimes takes a secondary step. And if you think about the business of pharmacy, it's really nothing else but purchasing a drug and getting it out to the patients. Of course, there is clinical data, etc. But the moment, because of this conflux of additional business, the moment this takes a secondary step, then this hits your bottom line. So you don't think about it, but it's really very subtle. But at some point in time, it starts draining into your profit, which is why bringing this into the workflow and then having a data-based decision rather than just like, okay, you know what, it's cutoff time, I just need to do this and then make it tactical. It should be more strategic, right? So that's what David is talking about, that it helps to do that.
David, there's another part to this, and that's the workflow and action that's tying it into the pharmacy management system, and there's no steps lost. There's, like we said, you don't have to log into a brand new system. So talk to us about some of that, the full purchasing cycle, obviously no additional cost. Talk to us about that workflow.
Yeah, the workflow is super simple. Like I said, you know, just from the moment you initiate work on a prescription, as soon as you have selected the drug and start working, if you're filling, you know, lisinopril 10 milligrams for a patient, all of a sudden we're going to do a search in the background and show you in workflow what the best price for lisinopril 10 milligrams is on the market right now. So yeah, I mean, just think about that piece on its own and how you would get to that in a non-integrated environment. That's you know, you've still got to fill the lisinopril script, but then you got to leave workflow. In our scenario, you come over to the market, you log in, you type in lisinopril, or you copy and paste the NDC, you do a search, and we make it super easy from there, but it's manual work. You're leaving workflow, you stopped thinking about the prescription that you're filling, and you've moved into procurement mode, and you've left workflow and gone somewhere else to handle that. We take the thinking out of it, we take the searching out of it, we take the swiveling to another screen out of it. It's all right there. It's in your face. It's going to be sort of hard to ignore almost, and that's by design. We want to surface savings to our customers immediately and provide that value without the complexity it takes to get to it today. I think all of that just leads to savings, right? It's your techs filling more scripts per hour, or it's your pharmacist spending more time delivering patient care or giving a flu shot or whatever it is that you can use, your resources to drive additional revenue rather than thinking about how you're going to save on your purchases.
And this is not just built in as an integration. That means we are providing even cutoff time reminders in the pharmacy management system. As I said, day in and day out, you're looking at the pharmacy management system more than sometimes you're looking at your own family, right? So if your eyes are glued in over here and you are filling prescriptions day in and day out, let's say your cutoff time to order is 5 p.m., depending on the configuration, half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, the system will remind you that, hey, it's your cutoff time. So what happens is through the day, every pharmacy, does not matter what kind of pharmacy you are, you have standard steps. You have data entry, adjudication, drug pick verification, pharmacist verification, and so on and so forth. This ability to order, look at your current cost, look at your current inventory, look at what is the cheapest available price in the on the market. If you have already started a cart, we ought to do intelligent comparison to say, hey, does it make sense to maybe there's a drug from your supplier who you started a cart with that may be slightly more expensive, but if you do use that, you may be able to meet your minimum and avoid shipping costs. These are the kind of decisions that actually happen through the workflow, right? So we are making the ability for you to simply do a couple of clicks through the day, depending on your stock, and then towards your cutoff time, you go to the market, you look at the orders that have or the items that have accumulated through the whole day. If you need to make changes, you make changes. Otherwise, simply click a button and check out. That's all there is to it, right? So.
Great. I love this. I love the profitability factor, the ease factor, the workflow factor. It helps the entire operation as well as the profitability. I do want to get some final thoughts from David, and that is I kind of want you to give an example of how many steps it might take and some of the scenarios that we know that pharmacy operators are going through with the status quo without really implementing. And then a shout out to people listening. We want to make sure that you know where to go. PrimeRx.io/market. Once again, that's PrimeRx.io/market. Take a look for yourself. But David, give us a rundown of the status quo compared to this scenario.
Yeah, I think the easiest, I find that in retail pharmacy in general, because of all of the demands on a pharmacist's time, on a technician's time, the complexities of workflow, a lot of things tend to default to the path of least resistance. So what's the easiest way to order my drugs, more so than what's the most cost-effective way of ordering my drugs? So, the easiest way to do that is if you've got an agreement with a primary wholesaler, you just order everything from your primary wholesaler. But in a capitalist society where competition drives price down, that is sort of anathema to the way most business owners and even consumers would operate, where we like to price shop and comparison shop, and nobody likes overpaying for anything in their daily life. Why would you overpay for your pharmaceuticals? And if you're buying from a single source, 100% of the time you are overpaying for your pharmaceuticals overall, period. There's just no two ways about it. So introducing competition is important. Now, the middle ground, the status quo now is if you have someone who really wants to spend time and focus on optimizing their cost of goods, that typically means opening up multiple supplier websites outside of workflow and then going and individually doing searches, one drug at a time, numerous times for each drug throughout the day, building different carts in different places. And then at the end of the day, you go and find where are my best savings opportunities, and you check out a few different times in a few different places. Terribly cumbersome, disjointed, disconnected from workflow, and again, taking a pharmacist in particular away from that clinical experience, that patient care experience, and putting them into the mindset of a procurement manager. So those are the, you've got either a cumbersome way to shop better or you've got an easy way to overpay. And what we've done now is created an easy way to get the best price, period. You don't have to think. So, for those folks who want to default to the path of least resistance, if you want to implement a strategy where you can ensure that all of your staff knows how to optimize what you spend on your drugs, I would say default to buying the cheapest product you can buy when we show you what that price is. And if that's on the market, great. If you have a better price available from your primary wholesaler, we're not discouraging you from buying. We're here to tell you we want you to optimize your costs. And we know we're better in the vast majority of cases, but we're not encouraging you to do anything that doesn't make the most sense for you as a business owner and operator. We're giving you a tool that we think is a game changer, and we'd really like for you to take advantage, because we know that if you save what we know you can save, we know that you as an operator will invest that back into your business. And we know when pharmacies are thriving and investing in growing the care that they can provide, then our communities, our health, the health of our patients that we serve are all lifted as well.
Absolutely. Hey, Ketan and David, this has been a wonderful conversation, and really appreciate you both sharing and digging into the market and marketplace. More importantly, the new integration to the PrimeRx systems. I'm also excited to once again announce the Explore by PrimeRx event, the PrimeRx User Conference 2025, October 10th through 11th at the Western Jersey City, Newport. Definitely subscribe if you are a user. You don't want to miss this event. Also, David, you're going to be going through the market system there as well, right?
I will. We'll do a full hands-on session. We'll show you everything start to finish about the market site itself. We'll show you the integration with both the cloud and enterprise pharmacy management system products. And then we'll have an open discussion with pharmacy owners and operators about maximizing the use of this tool and all of the savings that they're enjoying by using it.
Terrific. I am excited to hear more about it. I also want to let everyone know listening, if you want to listen to all of the podcasts that have come from the PrimeRx team, some of their testimonies, some of their directions, you can go to PrimeRx.io/podcast. Once again, that's PrimeRx.io/podcast. Gentlemen, this has been a really good time sharing, and appreciate both of your insights.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you. You've been listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Tech Trends, part of the PrimeRx Enterprise, prescribing knowledge, dispensing wisdom in every episode. We'll talk to you and listen to us next time here on the Pharmacy Podcast Network.